Hello, and welcome to another episode of AWS Tech Tales. I'm your host, Matt Burke.
I'm your co-host, Brooke Gary.
Hey, everyone, welcome to the show. Please let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know how you're doing out there in this very hot weather, at least in the Northeast. It's like 90 degrees out, Brooke, right now.
It's not that bad. I think everyone's overreacting.
Irietta says, hey, everyone.
Oh,
Nice
hi
to see you
Erie.
here,
Welcome
Irietta.
back.
Um, Yeah, I mean it's not that bad. I think compared to like the humidity that's been going on the past couple weeks, I don't know. But
It's
apparently it's supposed to be nearly nice out soon.
it's my first time living somewhere where it gets humid, and I was not prepared for the way that after all the rain dumps down, the humidity just goes away, and then it feels so nice and cool and perfect. I feel like nothing compares to like that post-rain.
Yeah, I agree. And Iriadis is saying they're watching from LA. We actually have our producers are in LA too. It's a cool 81 here. I
Don't
saw
remind me. I
I
wish I was
know.
back there.
I saw a chart recently on social media that was like days of which like things are at a comfortable temperature, and it was like almost 360 days, and it was only LA that had that number.
Yeah, or like anywhere
Uh,
up along the coast there. That's where my parents live, so shout out to Central California.
Watching from North Carolina, it's 95 degrees here, so even
We're
hotter
in the
than New
same
York right
boat.
now. Oh, geez. So, folks, this is the show where we talk about real life customer issues, what you can do to solve them. Sometimes we talk about troubleshooting in real time. Sometimes we highlight new and emerging tech. And today is one of those times. We've been experimenting here on the show the past few weeks with what AI can do for us in this operational technical space. We've been using it to troubleshoot everything from CloudFormation templates to vibe coding, a calculator app for us. And today we're going to be talking a bit about how to use AI in your operations. Oh, I got some even more. Shaka Jordan saying much better than Texas weather. It's getting worse here. Yeah, I saw
Oh.
Houston is getting super hot. Austin is getting super hot right now. I hope you're staying cool. I hope you're in air conditioning as you're watching this. So Brooke, tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about like Brooke's driving today, which I'm very excited about. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to talk about, or like maybe like this field of AI ops in general.
Yeah, so I think AI, like obviously, like Matt was saying, this is all very, very new to us, especially as TAMs, just exploring all of the different technologies as they come out. AI ops is like, I think it started as kind of one of those buzzwords. It's like, okay, whatever, like everyone's talking about it. And then now I think it's at a point where a lot of us genuinely think that AI ops is going to be like a new field or a new school of like a domain like resiliency or security in a few years. Really, I mean, we have cloud ops or cloud operations, and AI ops, I really think is just going to kind of slowly replace that bit by
No,
bit.
don't say that. I'm a cloud up specialist in my spare time, so here I'm like, oh no.
Well,
Uh,
not replace, obviously, but I think it will be one of those things where if you are into cloud ops and you don't know how to use these tools or you don't understand how they work, I think that's where uh, it's gonna start gapping a little bit in terms of as like more and more companies adopt things like agents, which I know someone asked about last week. So that's what we're gonna be taking a look at. In particular, Bedrock agents, the agent feature in Bedrock, and
Here, yeah, it says the machines are coming for us all. What I like about like what we're going to dive into today is so we've been spending a lot of time talking about Q developer and basically like using the managed service of Q on your behalf. And what Brooke's gonna dive into today is customizing this agent for your own use case because oftentimes like something that's stock that's out of the box doesn't necessarily know your environment, your runtime, your run books, and so, how can we feed that information to the AI and then have it execute on our behalf? And it's a few simple examples, but I think that it's very powerful in opening up the way that we're thinking about this. Uh,
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because today when we create our little AI ops agent, it's kind of like having our own little DevOps engineer. And you just give it the same exact run books. At first, I thought that it was kind of scary sounding. It's like, you hear the word agent, and there's just so many news stories about things going wrong. But I think, personally, I was surprised. I think everyone will be surprised today, just the level of control that you have over Bedrock agents in particular, and how it's actually kind of a lot of work to even allow it to do certain actions. Um, but yeah, we'll be setting all of that up today.
and One Punch Mac said, "More like turkeys voting for Christmas." Oh, I get. Well, this is a lot of mixed metaphors. They're talking about turkeys on Thanksgiving, then
I
they're
don't get
voting for
this one.
Christmas. There's a lot going on in this, in only 6 words. One Punch Mac. Uh,
Great.
so yeah, Brooke, should I bring up
Yeah.
your
Let's
architecture?
take a look at what we're going to be looking at today and the little prototype account that we have set up. So this looks complicated. Honestly, Matt and I kind of did a dry run and set everything up first. And then we took a look at the architecture diagram and we are like, that's way more complicated than we thought it would look like. So it's really not too much. I guess the main things to highlight here are on the left side, this little box up here talking about what it would look like in a real life scenario where, let's say, you have an EC2 instance. There's alarms going off in CloudWatch that it's approaching 90% utilization, and you have, whatever controllers or application management tools that you're using that can go ahead and restart that. So we're kind of just replicating that same function and just giving a Bedrock agent the run books, the prompt, and then letting it go free and see if it can resolve and restart our instance for us and take a snapshot.
And we're opening up the box a little bit. It's not as much a black box as if you just prompted a LLM and told it to do stuff for you, or we're doing some not creating of a knowledge base and giving it some context, which is helpful here.
Yeah, so if you kind of trace the flow going from user, the user, you just set up your very, very strict controls in the Bedrock console when you're creating your agent. You have your little AI ops agent that's drawing from the knowledge base that you set up. You put whatever runbooks, whatever data that you want in there. And then it creates vector embeddings using OpenSearch out of the content that you put in your knowledge base. And you can do that just by uploading those documents to S3, which we'll also take a look at today. And then there's some more fun operation stuff on the top side here, but essentially it's going to be triggering a Lambda that we already have written to just very tightly control what the AI agent can actually do. And really all we're saying is you have the option to trigger this Lambda if these alerts reach this certain threshold. And then hopefully what we'll see today is that it'll successfully trigger that Lambda, and then we'll see a successful snapshot was taken, and we'll see that our instance was successfully restarted. And then it'll also, according to the runbook, send a little email notification out.
So some of this you could automate today, whether you're using a CloudWatch alarm, but it's the set of instructions or steps in this runbook that, while simple in our demo, I think that if folks are out there that are in operations, they're doing a lot of what we call at Amazon undifferentiated heavy lifting, which is what are these tasks that keep happening week over week or month over month that maybe you could automate that you haven't, or maybe if it's already automated, how can you make it even simpler? So I would love to see as we go through this what the folks in the comments think, and what use cases that their Bedrock agent could do for them.
Yeah, definitely want to hear about any ideas or other scenarios that people think this could be applied to. One area that's been of big interest to myself and the other TAMs on my account is how can we kind of automate operations around health events? So say you get a health event notification that there's a certain outage in this region, and then you're like, okay, well, what do I do? What do I check for? That's a really, really good place where you could upload your own run books and then have these agents kind of operate at a scale that a team may not always be able to do if these notifications are being sent out to hundreds or even thousands of AWS accounts.
So
So
Shankar's asking, is there a lab that could test rather than testing this on production? Just checking if this is something we have on AWS side. So I'm going to give you two shout outs here. One is the workshop that we're going to be working on today. So this you can follow along on afterwards and test this in your environment. But even better is if you open up an AWS account today, and let's say you've never opened one up before, or you're opening one up with a new email and credit card, we have the new free tier out, which is really cool, where you can get $100 from the start of credits and then up to $200 if you complete some activities. And what's really cool about that is if you pick free plan instead of paid plan, once those $200 of credits get consumed, that account gets closed and then it gets thrown away. You don't get charged a dime. So if you really wanted to play around and build this wouldn't cost you too much in those credits, and then you can continue to do some other things. So really highly recommend checking out free tier.
I need to set that up. I have my own personal AWS account that's linked to my card and it gets charged like 86 cents per month.
But you need to use it. You need to use a unique credit card and a unique email is the thing. So I kind of had to, when I was doing my demo test, I had to run through and find which credit card I haven't used yet and what email I haven't used.
But yes, take advantage of free tier. We love free things.
Yeah, free 99 is the best cost.
Cool. So let's take a look at, I guess, first what we have going in the console. So the first thing that I want to highlight is we have our EC2 instance here. So we can see instances running, status check, 2 out of 2 passed, no alarms are currently going off. But obviously we're gonna have to implement a little bit of chaos if we want our agent to prove that it can act on an alarm. So that's where we'll check out just real quick the 2 lambdas that we're gonna be allowing it to use in our action groups.
Really quick, 2 things work. So one, Victor says hello. Hey, Victor.
Yay.
And Dirt Chocolate says, was just thinking that I need to update my AI ops knowledge. This is perfect timing. So I'm glad to hear that. And I just wanted to also shout out for folks that the EC2 instance Brooke just shows, that's just like, pretend that's your app. Like that EC2 instance is the app in this standpoint. So it's not running anything related to AI, or it's just running your workload.
Yeah, as of right now, no AI yet. This is just kind of what we're working with and what we're gonna build our agent off of and our knowledge base. So we have 2 functions here. These are already pre-written. You could certainly use AI to write more functions if you wanted, but these are the 2 that we have, which is just very basic, checking a CloudWatch alarm, and then remediating an EC2 operational issue, which is just going to be restarting our instance once it sees that the utilization reaches over 90%. So the very first thing that we want to do before we start creating our agent even or thinking about what we want to allow it to do is we're going to have to think about what exactly we want to put in our knowledge base. So this very simple to set up. We'll just start with a basic S3 bucket. And then I've already gone ahead and uploaded just a very basic docx file. I've copied it here just so we could take a quick look at it. But this is our example runbook template for EC2 operations events. And you'll see it's very, very short for the purposes of this demo. Really not even long enough to warrant the chunking that we're about to do to it. But you can see.
And if folks don't know what chunking is, please ask us in the chat.
Yeah, we'll definitely get there once we start setting up our knowledge base and kind of customizing it. But just to see what we're starting with without any of the fancy AI stuff, let's say this is a runbook that our engineers have been using. We have it split up into sections here, which will also come in handy for when we do the chunking later. And then you can see here, there's very, very clear steps laid out for AI to read. which is checking the CPU utilization metric. And then step 1, step 2, step 3, very simple, create a snapshot of our EC2 volume, restart the instance, and then send us a notification.
But notice that we're not saying how to do any of these things. So let's say you've got like somebody that does operations. Maybe they do operations for on-prem and they've never done cloud. So they have a standard runbook template that they use. You don't have to refactor necessarily, which is interesting here.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we huh. I guess that's one of those things we won't really see under the hood today, because all we're really gonna be doing is allowing it to use those Lambda functions. So I guess we'll confirm a little bit later once we set up the knowledge base and the action groups for the agent, but it might just be one of those things where it reads the Lambda, it says, "Okay, I'm allowed to do this action. It seems like it matches with this runbook. Execute," right? Um, so we'll take a look at that shortly. But the first thing that we want to do, just because it takes a little bit of time, is not Lambda. We want to induce a little bit of chaos onto our application, our instance here.
How are you going to do that?
So we're just going to run a very basic command just to get that alarm going off. It takes about 10 minutes. So we'll go ahead and set that up now while we're going through and creating our agent. So let me just pull up that command real quick.
Victor is using our emotes as well as saying, very interesting. Well, thank you. You have to let us know what topics you want to dive deeper into. I'm starting to pull out already into the end of August what our topics are going to be. And I've been leaning into this just because I've been surprised by the speed at which our tooling has evolved. We did a bunch of Q developer stuff, I would say last year when it first went GA. And it's pretty shocking how quickly we've iterated. And Victor says the CPU utilization always matters, but memory is important too. Because if you have low CPU but high memory, then it's still being used.
So just to explain what I'm doing real quick, we're just going to run this command using this stress-ng tool. Just to go ahead and put a little bit of stress on the CPU. This will take about 10 minutes to where we can actually see here on our instance that any alarms are going off. So that's why we're going to go ahead and set that up now in the background. And while that's doing its thing, we can go ahead and take a look at setting up our Bedrock agent. So the first thing that we want to do is take a look at the models that we have access to. And we're going to need 2. So if you've done any kind of projects in Bedrock, you might know you always have to make sure that you have access to the model that you're trying to use. It's very easy. Don't get scared off by the available to request pop-up that's here. But we're going to need 2 models, right? Because one is we need like our basic inferencing model, just so we can kind of have a chat interface with our agent and provide that kind of logic for it. And then we're also going to need an embedding model. So for that today, I think let's just use Titan Text Embeddings v2, Classic. And then I think for this one, we're just going to use, actually, let's do Sonnet. Use an older one because I haven't tested the newer ones too much yet.
Dirt Chocolate says that, and the token limits per region. Yes, that's important too. I don't think we're going to go anywhere near close to the token limit with this project. And Shankar says, quick question: how does costing that people should be concerned about setting up Bedrock? Is that charged based on each model, or can you interlock multiple jobs on one model? So we're charging you based on your usage of each individual model, depending on if it's an Amazon model or if it's let's say a Claude model, an Anthropic model, then that'll show up as like a marketplace charge that'll be attributable to the specific model that you're using. So you can check the individual pricing information for each of them. the
Yeah, I was
models.
gonna bring this up later because I just learned this while I was looking into how to do this. There's no special pricing for using or setting up a model, actually. All you would pay for with this kind of project is just the requests that you send to the model. So any, just basic inferencing that you're doing, asking the model, review if there's any alarms going off on my instances. And then if the agent does execute any code, any lambdas, you'll get charged for that. So there's no like extra expenses with the model, which I thought was interesting. It's
Yeah,
just
there's no like
orchestration.
deployment cost or like it existing in your account cost, which is like when you think about I don't know, like a transit gateway or something. You deploy it and there's some running CPU. This is serverless at its best.
Yeah. Cool. So I think we have everything set up to where we can go ahead and first let's create our knowledge base. So that way when we go to create our agent, we can just plug in the knowledge base right to that configuration. I think we can just keep kind of all of these default names, create and use a new service role. And then, yeah, we'll be able to grab it from S3 here. So here's where we'll just do browse S3, and then here's the bucket that we were looking at earlier that has this runbook uploaded to it. Um, Obviously, I'm sure you can imagine if you were creating a more complex agent, you would have a lot more content in here. But just for the purposes of this demo, we're keeping it short and sweet, but just that one run book that details how to restart an instance and the steps for creating a snapshot and sending us a notification.
But once we set this up, if folks were to upload more runbooks, you don't have to do any additional setup. You just put it in the bucket and let it roll.
Yeah, that's the cool part. And then you'll see here you can define what you want the chunking strategy to be. Today we'll go ahead and just do default chunking. I don't even know if this is 300 tokens, so I would think we just have one chunk. But typically you'd have a lot more fleshed out steps here, and the chunking strategy would be to break it up by these kind of headings or sections, and break everything up semantically for the LLM to be able to process a little bit easier. Then we'll just select the embeddings model that we just made sure that we have access to. And we're going to create a new vector store. So for those who aren't super familiar with Bedrock or vector stores, essentially we're taking this document and converting it into really, really big vectors, just a bunch of numerical values. And that's what's going to help our LLM be able to process this information really, really efficiently, do similarity searches. If you ask a specific question about something and it sees that the question that you're asking is related to this section in particular, it'll be able to get an answer for you much easier than just typical, throwing a document at it and letting it inference based off of just however it interprets that text.
And then Dark Chocolate says, OpenSearch serverless, I remember using prior to Pinecone, and it was pricey. Well, what's interesting about, we're going to use OpenSearch serverless today, but we just announced in preview, you can see it in the dropdown, S3 vectors.
Yay!
So I'm very excited about that. So now if you just want to store in S3 vectors, that most likely will be way cheaper, but it'll have to go GA and then we can fully recommend it to folks.
Yeah, it's much cheaper. In my experience, it's much easier to set up, and it's fully managed, so you don't have to worry about managing really anything. I think I tried a project similar to this, and I just selected S3 vectors here and didn't have to do anything else. So that was quite nice. Okay, looks good. So it's probably going to take just a couple minutes here to create the vector database and then create our knowledge base on top of that. in the meantime, we can start taking a look at creating our agent. Oh, I don't want to leave the page. Oh no! Okay,
I
let's
think
see if that's in progress. Oh
it's
dear.
gone. It's okay. It'll create. Is it not going to create now because we moved away?
I think so. It's okay. We'll run through it real quick again.
Well, if we create two, that's also not a big deal because you still have to manually associate it.
Yeah, I checked to see because sometimes it takes like a minute and you'll be able to see the ones pending creation, but did
So
not see that.
don't move away from the page, folks.
Those are the kinds of pro tips you get from watching this stream, watching us mess up. Okay, so we'll wait here for a second. I guess in the meantime,
Yeah,
Matt,
you can
are there
just.
any
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, are there any ideas that you have for using agents for things like cost optimization or right sizing instances or anything along those lines?
I mean, I think what would be interesting is doing some sort of automation where, like, let's say the instance is like completely idle. Like, for example, saying like, hey, if my instance is it's the weekend and it's at like 0% or like less than 5% CPU, you can, and for this amount of time, you can turn it off and resize it based on resizing recommendations. Something that would be cool. Um, if in a dev environment, obviously, that would be interesting. I mean, I feel like based on those runbooks that we're testing out, that would be possible for it to kind of track the usage over time.
Yeah, another thought I had was I guess I'd be worried about telling it to do anything that spends money like this, but doing any kind of like reservation of capacity or reserved instances for you, I think that would take a lot of overhead off of certain applications.
So for folks that are just joining us as well, because I know we're almost at the halfway mark, we're certainly building building an AIOps agent for our EC2 instance, and the hope is that by feeding it the run book, we can get it to automatically take some action. We prompt it to take some action for us when the CPU is over 100%. Dirk Chocolate saying, so what would be the benefit of using this over AWS config rules or CloudWatch alarms, though you can integrate it with this if I recall?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, what we're doing in today's demo is pretty simple and straightforward, but I would imagine you can get really complex with it and you can have all these agents running. You can upload, thousands of pages worth of runbooks from your documents that teams have built up over the years, and really just try to automate as much of that heavy lifting as you can. I know one thing that we've been looking at a lot is automation around AWS health events. So when those get sent out to hundreds or even thousands of accounts, it gets really hard to kind of manage and like go through and check CloudTrail API errors and things like that. So I think if you could set up an agent successfully that knows, if X happens, take Y action, um, you can put a little bit more complex logic there than you could with just basic config rules or basic automation.
And Dirk Chocolate was like, where can I get example runbooks just for some research? I mean, there is one that's included in this labs that we just went over, but I feel like runbooks are. I've never seen a single template. I feel like every company has their own way of writing something up. It might be in a PDF, it might be in a crazy long Word document. So at the end of the day, you're working backwards from what is the situation and what were the steps that I need to take. And usually, even the one that we have is very simple in that regard.
Yeah, I wonder if that's why it's so simple, because maybe, those kinds of templates, I would imagine, certain companies are very protective over kind of if they have a good structure going. But I'm sure there's good resources online. And I'll say, just from doing experimenting with this workshop, I tried, asking Q developer to make similar run books for other types of scenarios with utilization or security incident response with EC2 instances. It did a really good job at following this format perfectly, and then writing down all the same steps that I would take to resolve something like that. So if you have a good template, definitely can use AI to make more and expand upon it.
I just put it's a kind of old article that I found, but it's part of Well Architected Framework. There's a runbook page that talks about how to build a runbook, what to include, and how you can convert runbooks to code. Which is also, I like that, is like when you have documentation and you do DevOps on it, so that you can actually track version history in a way that most developers are used to when they're looking at code, but you can do it for documents too.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely recommend using well-architected documentation as a resource.
Oh, and our knowledge base is done.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, we were talking, our knowledge base created, so we won't have any issues creating our agent now. So let's get into it. Let's give it a better name here. AI Ops Agent. And this will be our little AI DevOps engineer.
And thanks JW01 also put another link into the chat for I can give a better idea. So thank you for that. I love it when our chat helps itself out.
So it's a little blown up here for me, but we should be able to see. We have two windows here. So on the right is where we can start testing the agent once we have it set up a little bit more. And then on the left, first thing we want to do is select our Claude Sonnet. Oh, legacy now.
Oh, there you go, because you're doing 3. We're already on 4.
And then instructions, I have just a little blurb that I'm going to copy over here, but we can read through it real quick. I think a lot of people have experience with prompt engineering and how to write good prompts, but typically they follow a very similar format where you want to start with telling the agent or the AI, the LLM, what you want them to act as. So today we're going to say, you are a helpful, expert operational team member who has a deep understanding of AWS services. So that's a key one, because that means it'll be prompted to pull at whatever documentation, if you have AWS documentation in your knowledge base, or I would imagine Claude 3 Sonnet has some AWS documentation built in. With this next part here, your responsibility is to find if there are any operational issues and fix them using the runbooks that we've uploaded. It is mandatory to strictly follow the runbook and do not perform any step not mentioned. Ask for approval. That's us kind of putting our foot down.
So we're putting security in here. We're like, hey, you don't act out of turn. I like that. That's just like the instructions from the jump.
Yeah, gotta be strict with it, I guess. But it's funny because I wouldn't think that's super necessary, because here at the action groups part, I know I mentioned this a couple times earlier, but the action groups are where you define what actions this agent is actually allowed to take. So if it's not on here, it can't do it, essentially. It can't spin up new instances. It can't purchase any reservations, anything that's not strictly specified here as an action group, it's not going to be allowed to do.
We can't shoot you out of the airlock. Can't do any of those things. I don't know. Brooke doesn't get my 2001 reference, I don't think.
I don't think I do. That was the year I was born. So we'll create our first action group here. This is going to be for searching for operational issues. So we'll be able to use one of those lambdas that we looked at earlier. We can just select an existing function. Oh, interesting. Create a new lambda function. I wonder if there's an option here to use AI to help write it for you.
Oh, yeah, because you can create a new lambda function.
Yeah.
But how would you define it? You just tell it what you want? Scroll down. Oh, I don't know. That's interesting. The problem is you're going to have to, if you See if you can click away the test agent box.
Yeah. Well, that's end session. I guess we could always restart a session.
Oh, and it still doesn't
Yeah.
expand at all.
I'm zoomed in a little bit.
Yeah.
Wait, I kind of want to try it real quick because it says no further configurations are necessary. But maybe,
yeah, let's connect it to the Lambda.
yeah, we'll play with that later. If anyone else knows what that does or what the capabilities are, definitely let us know. So this one's going to be our check CloudWatch alarms function. And then here's, I guess, where we enter the name of the function.
So again, we're just defining what this thing can even do.
Okay. So I guess let's start by creating that one. But then,
You want to add more? Is that why?
Yeah, we still need to add
the knowledge base.
Under action group type. I must have missed that. Oh, here we go. So we want to define with API schemas. And then we'll select our function. Okay, here we go. Let me just try.
I'm gonna put on some coding music.
Coding music, yeah. So this is just example one. We're gonna replace it with, we just wrote up, how can I expand this?
It really is stretching the amount of available. You could kill the hamburger menu on the left. If you click the blue on the top, yeah, there you go.
Well, now I need to go back to my editor. Oh dear. Okay. Let's just go back to our agent. I'll kill this menu. There we go. Much nicer. Okay. So we'll just take a quick peek at what this JSON is defining. So this is our open API that we're going to be defining. This is how we're defining how and what the agent can actually invoke in order to carry out a task that we ask it to carry out in this chat box over here. So it's just
this could be any API, right? This doesn't have to be an AWS one.
Yeah. So just basic description. Here we're defining that they're looking for high CPU utilization, throttling, or high error rates. And then we'll just go ahead and save and exit. And then we want to create one more action group for actually invoking the Lambda to restart the instance.
Victor, what is the face for? Oh, it looks interesting. It says, yeah. This is the thing, this is starting to get interesting, and then we'll actually have to kick the tires and see what it does in action.
Okay, so let's collapse this, take a quick look, make sure this all looks right.
So Sam says, hey guys, welcome back to the show, Sam.
Hey.
GW01 says, so that open API describes an API that runs on Lambda and exposed over API gateway. I think they were overcomplicating it a little bit, right? It's
Yeah,
just the
not
lambda we're
yeah, I can
invoking.
pull this back up. So we're just using API, Open API, to define how the agent can call either one of these functions. So we're just setting up those definitions. Like I was saying earlier, it's like very, very tight controls on what the agent actually gets to do.
Dumb Chocolate saying, I'm wondering if it can be integrated with AWS SSM to conduct run commands and assess server application logs too. I think how I put this, the sky's the limit in terms of like, if you want to build out some of these functions to allow it to do it, some of these action groups, you could. I'm also just thinking about like the way the CLI was helping us do some of these things last week and thinking that's also helpful. But this is like a more programmatic, safe way, especially if you want to deploy this agent and give it access, give folks in your organization access to it, rather than like everyone's just kind of plunking away in their own little CLI.
Yep. And then since our knowledge base has been created successfully, we can just add that right in.
I like that you can give it instructions too.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we need to.
And 21, just shout out to you, 21 Benzin.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
We'll just do some, since we already gave it instructions kind of on what to do, we'll just kind of clarify how to use the knowledge base. So we'll just say the knowledge base contains the run books to fix operational issues. So hopefully it sees an operational issue and then it knows to go through this knowledge base here for how to fix that. Great. Okay, successfully added. And then it looks like we successfully have our agent set up. Still have to prepare it. Maybe we have to click test.
All the buttons are going.
Yeah. Yes, I think usually you just have to press prepare here.
Give it a refresh, right? Let's see.
Yeah.
Might be something that's in the session.
There we go.
There you go. Okay, it's loading, folks. If you've got any questions, agent we have instructions.
So
we gave it some good instructions.
Edit.
Oh, okay.
Gone away. So we'll just grab that real quick. Here's our instructions back. And save.
Test, prepare. Oh, it's being really mean today.
Maybe we need...
Oh, did we pick the wrong model? We need 3.5.
That'll do it. Okay.
This is what always happens when you start to get down to the wire with these demos. You're like, wait,
actually,
what do I click into?
We need Claude 3 Haiku.
Now we're showing how easy it is to request a model. It's pretty quick.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll just go. That's nice that it tells you why it failed.
This reminds me of our CloudFormation episodes.
Yeah, it doesn't always tell you why things failed.
Yeah, go back up, select model.
Oh, here we go. It hasn't quite updated. Claude 3 Haiku. go double check that.
JW1 says the importance of clear and concise error messages.
Oh, it didn't fully work. Okay, Claude 3 Haiku. Next. And request access, submit. In progress. Okay. Can't get too impatient.
That's the thing, is you're just, it's like,
Okay,
come on.
access grant.
This also highlights the need to keep up to date on your models, because this stuff goes quickly.
We might just need to give it a minute.
Yeah.
Double check one more time. Claude 3.5 Haiku.
Michael Lawrence says, can you use Claude 4? Yeah, we could, but I think our code is built for, was tested with 3.5, so that's why we're doing it.
Let me in.
Oh, Sam says, think you may need to untick the optimized option. Oh yeah, unclick that. Let's see, and then no, it's still just loading the access. It's percolating.
Maybe if we try resaving it. Yeah, it might just take a minute.
Try creating a new agent just to see if something else changes. Shankar's like, you probably want to refresh the logins. I don't know if it's the login. Yeah, it's just percolating.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
well, I don't need the documentation.
Yeah. Might just have to wait a second for that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we could double check that our
instance has been crashing this whole time.
Yeah.
Our poor instance just
it's supposed to last for an hour.
It's still
oh, we actually don't
got
have
our status checks,
now.
but we didn't take it down.
Yeah, we should be seeing alarms here. So maybe we have to rerun this.
No, it looks like it's still running. A successful run. It went for a half hour.
Yeah. So we'll let that cook.
Dunk Chocolate's saying you can check the CPU utilization in the monitoring console. Let's check it out.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there we go. I see it top left. If you go back up. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty stressed.
There we go. Okay, so it might have just come back down by the time we took a look at it. So you can let that cook for just a second.
There we go. Okay, so now we can go back to our original agent.
So it just takes a quick second. Okay, everything looks good there. We'll do save and try to prepare again.
Why is it being mean?
3.5.
We use Haiku, right?
Yeah. Okay, so now we're getting into the troubleshooting with agents.
Yeah, wait, scroll down.
Failed to create the open API 3 model. Maybe something just got cut off because it's saying specifically for this remediate EC2.
Hey, wait. Go up for a sec. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, that looks good to me.
Yeah, let's try to redefine this. Maybe just got cut off somehow.
Yeah, you're right, because originally it says 3 in here. So that's interesting that the Runbook didn't like it. It requires 3.5. It's using 3-5.
3-5.
I might have to control F it. That's so interesting.
And let's see, everything else looks okay here.
Yeah, it's saying should match for 3.5.
Oh dear. Oh, I don't even see 3.5 here defined. If the issue is a mismatch.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the mismatch would happen if it's just in the API schema.
Yeah, because I don't see this in here. Oh, because in the Lambda function itself, it's not in the action group.
Oh, potentially? Could double check.
Chocolate says, what does show detail provide? If you click into show details on the error message. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just saying that there's an oh my god, I can't speak. An exception in the schema.
Yeah, just looking through to see if like we missed any steps. There was something it wanted us to do with the knowledge base that I might have missed. But I wouldn't think that would be related.
And Tongue Chocolate says, it feels like I'm at work now. And then Sam says, shall we open up the spec file in Notepad? I just want to see the operation ID.
Yeah, we could take a look at that. Just real quick, I forgot to sync the knowledge base. So I think that's just making sure it's up to date. Shouldn't take too long considering there's very little data in there. But other than that, everything should have been set up correctly.
Yeah, and Dark Chocolate says errors indicate that it could be the model being used, possible another 3.5 model that it expects. But we stopped getting a. I mean, we got a different error this time when we switched models, which is interesting. Should we try Sonnet? I don't know.
Let's try, it might be Claude 3 Haiku.
Let's see. Yeah, it was Claude 3 Haiku, but I don't know which one we used before. Let's test it. We're down to the wire, the last 5 minutes.
There we go.
That's what it was.
Okay, gotta make sure
you're...
Yeah.
All right, we gotta
your model matches what's defined.
We got a speed run, Brooke. The next 5 minutes.
Okay, let's see if these alarms are going off. I don't see alarms.
There's a
but I do
regex
see
validation on the model name somewhere. Yeah, this. I think we should. Yeah, let's prompt it. Let's. If it doesn't go through all the way, at least we know it's trying.
So we'll give it a try, and then we'll just ask the agent directly through the test console. Check for any operational issues, but do not take any actions. So if you want to be careful.
Now it's thinking. This is our new custom agent, guys. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Operational issues. But I guess that's because our CloudWatch alarms are not going off, even though
Everyone's goes great. Great, there's no issues. Yeah, let's check CloudWatch. Can we manually trigger an alarm? Oh, there we go. There is an alarm. So go back. Let's get again.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Okay, here we go.
One operational issue detected, an EC2 instance with high CPU utilization. Okay, I guess I just give it my approval. I approve.
JW0 action snoozes the morning alarm. Okay, yep. See, it knows what to do from the run book. Please let me know. Yes, go ahead. Could do it.
Yes, go ahead.
All right, and now we're gonna see. So we put together all these different steps. We gave it the lambda. JW1 goes, yay, fix that. It's okay. It's
that was suspiciously fast.
Yeah, a little fast.
Let's take a look. Or I guess I could just refresh here.
I would love to see CloudTrail too. I don't know if we have time, but I'd love to see like it executing.
Can we see?
Shankar says, awesome. JW goes, it remediated it. It took down the instance. No, it's running. It's still running. We're good.
Okay, so we're still not seeing a change yet, but it does say it created a snapshot, so we could check to see if we have a backup potentially.
Let's check snapshots. Let's see if there's a new one. It knew the right thing to do. It may have hallucinated that it did anything. Let's find out in the last 2 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
It's okay. There is a snapshot. That's good.
56, yep.
Okay.
Okay, so it took a snapshot for us.
Sam goes, depends on whether the detailed monitoring is enabled. Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at the per second versus per minute.
Yeah,
that would be helpful.
If we can actually view alarms here.
Because really all we're asking it is to take a snapshot, reboot it. Insufficient. Okay, so that's good. So we're changing state back. Hopefully.
Okay.
It will wait for reports of healthy metrics. Yeah, I don't think we have enough time to wait for it to go to green, but I would assume we rebooted it based if it did everything else. What else did it say that it do? It rebooted it?
Yeah, I would expect to see something happen here.
It won't stop start. It's not a stop start. It's an OS level reboot, I assume.
Right.
Yeah, see, look, there it is. The system will reboot now.
Oh, okay. So I rebooted it.
Just for folks' awareness too, like it'll show running if you do an OS reboot. It's not like a start stop or it's completely taken down. It will continue to run. So we're in good shape. Our special agent went in and did all these actions for us, Brooke. You did it.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more we could have tried
all the
out
right
more
things.
time.
And JW at one goes, GPT is so funny, it hallucinated so hard. Oh, well, this is not our stuff. For a second, I thought it was talking about our agent, and is it just wanting to see CPU go down? I know, but we don't have enough time left, unfortunately. We gotta clock out at the top of the hour as always. But Sam goes, that's good. It should be in the okay state shortly. So maybe Brooke will share a screenshot for next week. Chocolate goes 1 minute data points. I know we didn't enable the detailed monitoring, as Sam said. So anyway, I'm gonna pull this off because I want to say bye to everyone. This is the first time we went straight to the wire. Brooke, thank you so much. We thought that this wasn't enough time, and of course we hit the
it's a
end
fun
of the
one.
hour.
We got to do some troubleshooting as always, so love to see it.
I just want to thank Brooke. Brooke's been subbing in for Zamara the past month. She's been doing a fantastic job. And then now you're going on PTO, and Zamara, I think, is coming back next week, I hope. So I just want to give everyone... Yeah. a shout out to Brooke and thank her for being an excellent co-host and showing us this awesome demo.
Thanks for having me.
Everyone goes, congrats. Thanks, guys. That was good fun. Thank you for the session. Thank you, everybody. And I hope you have our PTO is so good. Yeah, I agree. And thanks for your stream. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. This was AWS Tech Tales. We'll be here every week, Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific.